All right, y'all, this is pretty cool. It's going to look like nothing's happening at the beginning, but this is a transmission map based upon the samples that they have genome sequenced to show how the virus has spread back and forth from the United States and Europe. So let's give it a watch. It's going to get fascinating. Like I said, it's not exciting at the beginning. It just kind of bubbles up and grows as time goes on. This is in a time sequence of months. Okay, now you can barely see it. You're starting to see outbreaks happening. All right, now you're starting to see little threads. I don't know how clear it is, but it's going between us and Europe, and us and China, and Canada and China. And then it's circulating from different countries back to us, mutating the whole time. Obviously by air travel, and possibly by boat, but and you notice that this is for North America predominantly, but they're showing the strains and where they ended up that we happen to have. So Canada is the orange spot. And as the spots get bigger, that's kind of like their, peak of testing where they're finding people that are having the COVID detected. So, yes. And we even had cross infection from Canada into the United States. And then we go on lockdown. And as you see, they're showing a gradual reduction in the number of cases. And the shrinking circles are to indicate basically that transmission rates are somewhat slowing down, or infection rates. Pretty cool. Okay, so let me show you this. This is showing just in North America. I'll show you one from the world if I can in just a second. But basically, this is in time from December 3rd of 2019 through the weeks to where we are at April 2nd, which I assume, let me see if this page is ever, it doesn't. I assume that's as far as they process to this level right yet, but they're doing several hundred samples a day. And then adding the genome sequence to it. And what's great about this is this will actually allow us to track the strains, and they're also accumulating data on what the symptoms were and what the results of the, was it death or recovery? Because I think we all speculate that some strains might be flu-like and nothing worse than the flu, but it would be presumptive to assume that they all are. So we have, I think they said 8 strains in the world, and in America, these are the strains that we're dealing with right here. And they're subgrouping off of each other. They have one main group that they consider a strain, and then all the little mutations that happen from it. Okay, so let me see if I can find the world real fast. So North America, global. And let me show you the global. That's why I love this website. This website is actually going to let us track these viruses, and even though we don't have a cure, we'll at least be able to assess risk. Like if you're in the city of Atlanta like I am, or like in Los Angeles or somewhere else, any big city, New York, you'll have an idea of what virus is being detected in your area and what the symptoms are. And it won't be very long before we have some of that information and at least have an idea of what's going to happen. But I'd feel much more comfortable going back to work if I thought I was going to get a flu than if I thought I was going to end up on a ventilator in the hospital. You know what I'm saying? I'd risk it. And I think most people would, and that would be a strategy to reopen our economy. But anyway, if you look at that and you look at the worldwide transmission, I could hit the button, but they're showing all the different countries. This is where the virus spread back and forth between country to country. And it runs just like the one I just showed you, like a film. So check out this website. It's called nextstrain.com. Well, nextstrain.org, but I just Googled NetStrain to find it. But this is good news. Also, what's happening in Atlanta, here, I'll turn around so you can see me. What's happening in Atlanta is the CDC is doing a sampling of 400 random people. And the point of doing that, I'm assuming, is they're trying to see if it has spread throughout the city or, how far it's gotten. So they're choosing random neighborhoods, taking blood tests. Also, the city of Los Angeles and Los Angeles County in California have offered to test everybody in that county. So right there, it wouldn't be the same for another area of the country, but it will give us a good idea of how much it has spread in a large area. They're doing, I'm not sure if they're doing antibody test or actually COVID test, in Los Angeles. But anyway, it will give us a better demographic for a big area in the United States so that we can have some clue about what's happening on the West Coast. Yeah, and the reason why I looked up NextStrain was because I saw those two doctors on YouTube and people kept posting it. And I found it irritating that they were saying that coronavirus is just like a flu when I have suspected all along that, like all viruses, that it has mutations. And yes, indeed, maybe in their clinic and in their town of Bakersfield, perhaps it does give you flu-like symptoms, but it's not doing the same thing in New York. And to make a blanket statement that it's just like the flu and we should risk it all and go out there is kind of, to me, just risky. But Georgia is open. We have lifted our stay-at-home order, and we'll know in a couple of weeks. In Atlanta, especially because we're so big, we'll see if our stay-at-home order helped it die out a lot, if we're just going to get a reinfection. But regardless of what happens, research and websites like this that microbiologists and virologists and everything have access to is going to immensely help in the management of this virus, especially, and probably help with the creation of a vaccine if we're able to do that. So anyway, let me turn it around for you. I'm introducing you to NextStrain because this is good news for the whole world.